So let's talk about risks, because I feel like with risks, it's a big thing, right? What has been the time you've taken a risk in your professional career?
It's interesting. I don't see myself as a risky person,
Really?
but when people see what I do, say that's so risky.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think I just talk myself through the logic, and then it doesn't feel risky. I think one of my biggest challenges is I don't take enough risk. Like I think I should be taking more risk. I think I've created enough track record and enough momentum that I could take on more risk. But in general, I have don't have any debt, never gone into loans for the business. Everything's been organic. Even when I started the first company, I was in university, and I thought I was going to be an investment banker. That was my dream. And I had opportunities to work with Merrill Lynch, and he flew me to New York and put me in the Waldorf Astoria, which is like this super fancy hotel. And I decided to not do that job, even though it's 6 figures out of school, which would have been great, and instead make $300 a month and own 30% of a company. And I think a lot of people would see that as like a risky thing to do. For me, it was just, okay, I can go get another job in a year. Like if this doesn't work out, I'll get a different job. It may not be Merrill Lynch, it may not be as good a job, but I can get another job. The risk was if I didn't do this, I would potentially regret this my whole life that I never at least knew. So I'd rather know and fail than not know. I know other people thought that was incredibly risky. All my friends were taking those jobs. I don't know. I don't see that as risky. So I don't know. Emotionally, I feel like it's a weakness that I don't take enough risk.
No?
But other people think of what I do as risky.
Yeah,
so
of course. You got to show up every day.
I don't think that's risky though.
No?
I made how many, I don't know how many videos, thousands of videos on the channel. It was 350 videos until I wasn't completely embarrassed by myself. Like I couldn't watch my videos back.
I remember you saying that too.
Yeah, 350 public videos before I would start playing it. It's like, oh my God, it's so bad. And then 700 till I inspired myself, where I looked at it, it's like, oh my God, like I'm starting to get good at this. 700 public videos later, I just kept going. I mean, I made a lot of mistakes. I didn't have mentors. You should watch your tape back. You'll get better if you watch it back. Like I could have done it in a tenth of the time probably if I asked for help, if I looked back at the tape and tried to improve. All I had going for me was I just kept going, but I didn't see it it was like, this is risky. Mm-hmm. I think I play it super safe. I think I play it way too safe.
You played way too safe.
Emotionally. For other people that might look like a big risk, but I don't see myself as a big risk taker.
And I feel like speaking in camera now is the thing. And as we're going into 2025, my question to you is, you made that many videos. I've made, over 500 some odd episodes now.
Let's go.
What's one way you could tell a content creator to show up now on camera if they have that fear of? Because it's like multiple takes. I know about that doing podcasts. Sometimes doing like promo things, it's multiple takes. I'll take like 20, 30, 40 takes. And I'm like, this doesn't look good. This doesn't sound good. Something's off. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm not, dialed in and things like that. So what would you speak to the content creators of that, how to show up on camera?
Well, just not accepting fear is a good enough reason. Mm-hmm. Start there. Mm-hmm. Like if you're afraid, okay. Like it's just not a good enough reason. Mm-hmm. Like, whatever you want to create, whatever you want to build for yourself, you're going to have fear. And so fear in that case, it's not like fear you're going to die of an antelope running you over or something, right? It's like, what's the fear? There's no real fear, right? It's just an emotional, it's just so you're going to put out, like content creators, they're afraid of posting a content and somebody's going to see it and make fun of them. And they're afraid of posting a content and nobody's seeing it. So what are you afraid of? People seeing it or not people seeing it? Like both. You've just chosen the negative of both. Versus, I just don't want to accept fear as a good enough reason to not chase something down. So the fact that if fear is the reason, then you have to do it just because you don't want to teach yourself. Whether somebody ends up becoming a content creator or asking that girl out or like whatever the thing is they want to do, you don't want to teach yourself that being afraid is the reason why you're not doing it, because that's gonna cycle into every decision you have in life.
So true.
So that's where I would start. Like the fact that you're afraid means you go.
Yo, guys, what's going on? I appreciate you. Thank you. Turn on all bell notifications, subscribe, like, and comment to the podcast. It's the best way to stay up to date. And hey, it helps us gain the clarity and boost ourselves into that algorithm. We appreciate the support each and every day, each and every week. Let's keep on going to keep on growing. Peace.
I would just expect to suck. So just expect to suck at the beginning. Like, why do you think you're going to be good at the beginning? You think your first podcast is going to be good?
No.
It's like, but we do.
Exactly.
We expect it to be good because they might listen to you. It's like, oh, look, he's got it all down. He's coming in, one take. He's got this booming voice. You know, he's doing it. But some people would look to you and say, wow, he's got it all figured out. And you're like, I'm still just getting started, man. And then you might look to whoever. You look to a Rogan or whatever and say, well, they've got it all figured out. And they're still trying to get better as well, right? So just expect to suck at the beginning. If you can reduce the burden on yourself to be great out of the gate, then it allows you to be creative and start just releasing. So again, I just had consistency going for me. It was the only thing I think I had going for me. The videos were not very good. I mean, they're still on the channel. You can go back and watch them all. Most of them didn't do anything. The first video got lots of views, but mostly because people are going back to watch video 1. That video did not pop when people just want to see the origin story, so they go back. But go watch video number 40 or 37 or 94. Like, they all suck and might have 100 views or something, no comments. Sure. And so like, give yourself the permission to suck at the beginning and just keep going.
Absolutely. As a successful entrepreneur, what do you think is one of the biggest lies that's ever told?
That it's not possible. You know, like I think the first part of that is we don't think it's possible at all. The second part of that becomes it's not possible for me. So most people have a dream. If they're watching your show, they have a dream, right? It's like they're not watching it to stay stuck in their life, right? They've got a dream. They're a goal chaser, but they may not have started because they don't think it's possible. Or they see someone else who's done it. Well, Rory's done it. Look at him. But I can't do it. I can't do it because of whatever reason you want to put in there. So I mean, I think the world's biggest problem is people don't believe in themselves enough to do the big things and even just to do the next thing in front of them. So I think the biggest lie is people don't think that it's possible or possible for them. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it's definitely possible.
That hits me in the fields because it's like 8 years of doing this. And some folks like
wait, it hits you what in the fields?
It hits you right in the fields, yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah, you see the fields.
What does that mean? Where are the fields?
Somewhere in here.
Oh,
in the heart, man. In the heart.
Oh,
in the
okay,
heart.
okay,
in the heart.
okay.
It's me right in the fields, right?
Fields.
Fields, not fields.
I heard fields. It's
you
like
heard
got
Field
it.
of Dreams, Kevin Costner.
Yeah. Okay, hits you in the field. You're feeling it. Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I heard fields.
Yeah,
Like, what
and
are we planting?
I get in conversations all the time with like friends, family members, and they're like, "You're killing it. You're grinding. You're doing all this stuff," and I'm like, "Yes, but I stay hungry. You have to stay hungry no matter what. Can't get comfortable." Because I've always noticed. I feel like if you get comfortable, that's when you start slipping.
Yeah, I think I think comfort might be the wrong word. I'd just say bored.
Okay.
It's like I think people get bored, and I mean, most people who are watching this are probably bored with. If they're in a job, they're probably bored doing what they're doing. That's why they're listening to this, watching this to try to escape, to go do something else. But I think people if you're comfortable, you're bored in the work, and you're never going to do great work when you're bored. And so the trick is to figure out what your pivot's going to be. And that might be a completely new opportunity, or it could be within your thing. How do you make it different, make it better? If you're 500 episodes deep on your podcast, I'm sure you've learned a lot of lessons along the way. And so then what do you do about that? If you find, hey, I love these types of people, these types of conversations, or I love doing it in person, or I love whatever, then start to pivot towards that because that's the next level of growth. We're doing a mastermind here, and people are flying in from around the world for the next 2 days. And one of the questions that one of the members asked kind of in the to get ready for it was, I'm trying to figure out how to make more money off of my channel because I want to scale and grow my team. So what are the options? It's like, bro, everything is an option.
Facts.
What do you want to do?
Yep.
Like, do you want to sell your own masterminds? Do you want to be a coach? Do you want to have a course? Do you want to have a community? Do you want to do brand deals? Like, it's all doable, but it's not all right for you. It's like, what do you want to do? Start with that. Don't start with your head. Start with your heart, and then we'll figure out a plan around it. And a lot of times people lead with the feels because they don't know how it's going to work out. They can't figure out the dots. And so I forget who said it, but the idea of we play small because we see a path to a lesser goal, and our big goal, we don't see a path, so we settle for a lesser goal on a different path, right? And so start with the feel, start with the heart, and then from there, figure out whether it's research, online, guidance, mentorship, masterminding, to figure out the path to really get to the more ambitious goal.
Absolutely.
So it can all work. Everything can work, but what do you actually want to do? And where people get comfortable is you just start doing the same thing, even though you want to go do something else. So, how many have you done in person for your podcast?
Now in person, that's a great question. I would say in person since last year, let's say 30.
Okay, that's a
I
great
feel like
number,
it's 30.
right?
I feel like it's 30.
So if you've done like 500 total and then 30-ish, right?
Yeah.
So it's like whatever
Virtual,
percent that is.
It used to be audio at one point, and then it went to virtual.
Yeah.
And then whatnot, yeah.
Maybe it doesn't make a difference for you, but it's like I really love the in-person
It's
versus.
better.
So if you then wanted to pivot to in-person, where most people's brain goes, but it's so much more difficult and it takes a lot more time and I got to coordinate people. And like to do this, took more time to kind of figure out, you got to travel here, we got to talk, you got to go travel back. It's like half a day instead of just doing a
part of life though.
30-minute Zoom call. But that's where most people will go mentally. It's like you just see the roadblocks of why it's too hard. So let me just go back to doing it virtual because it's easier. That's where I would call it's comfortable. But then you'll get bored of it because if you had a taste of in person and you really love that, and then you have to go back to only doing Zoom, you'll start to get bored.
Absolutely.
And then that begins the death march of whatever your show, whatever you're creating. It's like not having the courage to then go off and do the thing.
Come on.
She can't jump. Her legs are too short.
Yeah, I got you.
He can jump, but she's
There you go.
Yeah, her little.
We got a guest on the podcast.
Yeah, Tristana is joining the conversation. Yeah,
got
for
a
the
guest
audio
on the
listeners,
pod.
I have a mini Dachshund who loves laps and has just joined the conversation.
Of
so
course,
it's great.
of course. No, for sure.
So I think that's where most people they at the beginning, even just doing the Zoom would have been a dream, and now you've done it, and it's easy to keep doing it. But what's the next thing? Because we want to be able to grow. You want to keep learning. And the worst part is when you have something that you would love to move towards, like in person or whatever, but then you don't do it because you only see the obstacles. And not talking to you, talking the audience, right? We all have these goals and dreams and aspirations, and then we mostly just see the obstacles, and so that keeps us comfortable. But really, we're bored, and you'll never create anything great when you're bored.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it goes into decision making also too. Making decisions, impactful decisions, because we have work, we have friends, we have family, we have relationships.
Yeah.
So it's like when those big important decisions come into place, how does it impact what's going on? You know what I mean? So for you, when you're making decision making and you're talking to successful people around the world, how do you balance your time to find out the right calculated decision that you're wanting to make?
I didn't think you were going to go time. That's an interesting switch up on that question. I try to make big decisions with the heart and small ones with the head.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very much a vibe guy.
I can tell.
And I just believe great things are going to happen. So even in this spot, it's a full day of filming. We have one spot open that I could have easily filled and sold to have somebody come here and you know what, let's get Rory out here, see if he can make it.
And I appreciate that.
But it's what's the strategy behind it? I don't know. I like Rory. We're going to hopefully have a good conversation, right? But that's a good enough reason, right? Just chasing the energy, that's a good enough reason. Yeah. And I frustrate my team all the time on this stuff because there's opportunities that strategically make more sense for me to do, but I just don't want to do them. And there's other people who message me who's like, I'm starting my brand new show. I'd love to have you on. I'll say yes to that and turn down a much bigger opportunity just because I want to. I mean, and maybe it's wrong. I don't know. But it's more off of emotion than logical planning, strategically this makes sense. And it's worked out, I guess, enough for me. But big decisions with the heart and then small ones with the head. So I'm a big believer that when you go to a new environment, when you go to an event, when you watch a video, when you listen to a podcast, when you're feeling bold, hopefully people watching your show, they've had moments where they felt bold. It's they got a new idea. It's wow, That's a different perspective. Rory or guest or whoever came on and gave me a different perspective. And it leads to ideation. It's like, well, maybe I can blank, right? I believe that those decisions are actually the best for you. When you're feeling bold, those ideas that come to you are actually the best for you. And your job is to go chase those down. Because as soon as you go back to your regular environment and routine, your brain's going to talk you out of doing those things because it's too big, too difficult, too scary, too whatever. So you have this like little moment of inspiration. That's actually the seed of greatness, where most of what you're doing is going to convince you not to do it. And so I think everybody I've had those moments. I've had those seeds planted. And maybe they start, but they don't continue. They waste their time on planning instead of doing. And then they end up back in the life that they were at. So if what I've tried to train myself to do is if I'm in a room, if I watch a video, I get inspired, I want to do something, I just start doing it. Like, what's the fastest path to action? And sometimes it turns into something big, and sometimes like that alone was enough. And have I told you the Kanye story with the videos on the channel?
No, you haven't told me that.
So the first top 10 I ever did, like people know my YouTube channel for like the top 10 rules of success that we profiled for I don't know how many years now. But Kanye was the first one we did. Now Kanye has all sorts of issues happening now. That, maybe dangerous putting him in the title or whatever. But, this was I don't know how many years ago. Shortly after the whole Taylor Swift, I'm gonna let you finish. A friend of mine did a blog post criticizing Kanye, and it was Mark, and I've told this story, so he's okay with it. I said, Mark, dude, you can learn a lot from Kanye. Like you don't go up on stage and do that, but there's a lot that you can learn from him. He went from being a producer to a rapper to winning more Grammys. Is it Grammys or Emmys? Grammys than anybody in history at his age. Becoming an entrepreneur, becoming a billionaire, maybe losing it, whatever. There's a lot you can learn from him and his story. And I choose just to look at what I can learn instead of looking at all the negatives, because who do you want to be? You want to be the best you. You don't want to be anybody else. There's no person, if you just look at what's wrong with people, everybody's going to disappoint you. Where if you look at what's right with people, you can learn one thing from them to make you a better you. And so for my friend Mark, I threw away my day. I had other stuff planned. And I'm just going to make a top 10 video on what you can learn from Kanye West. It was meant to be a one-off thing just for my friend Mark. And we released it, and people loved it. And they said, hey, can you do Jay-Z? Hey, can you do Dame Dash? Hey, can you do Jeff Bezos? Hey, can you do whoever? It's like, yeah, well, it was fun to do. Let's do it. And there's been lots of times where that didn't work out, but I don't see it as a waste. It's like I had a moment of boldness. I'm going to say yes and do something and throw away what I'm working on right now for the day and try to do this one thing, because immediate action, like if I went home and just started planning, I wouldn't do anything. Like it would still be now 8 years later and I still haven't released a video. Mm-hmm. So you get a hit of inspiration, as long as it's in a positive way, then do something immediately in the moment. I call it the first 2%. It's like get that first 2% done right now, where most people are trying to plan to 100% and they never do. Do the first 2% first.
What does the first hour of your day look like before you hit creativity?
Ooh, I don't know that I would. I think I'm always creative, so I don't know that. I just live in creativity. Okay. So I don't know that I'd say I'm not creative when I wake up. It's like I'll wake up with ideas.
But there's got to be a pause though, like before you start the production of like what you're wanting to get into.
Well, that's different. Right now it's productivity, production, not creativity, right? Yeah. So. And also, I would not want to tell myself, which is probably why I'm pushing back a little bit. It's more not for you, but for me, right? I don't want to tell myself that I'm not creative in the morning. I don't like that label for myself, right? I wake up and I'm creative. I want to believe it. Whether it's true or not, I want to believe it. So I'll tell myself that I believe it, and then that becomes fact. But I get the spirit of the question. I'll wake up. I'll go to the bathroom. I'll check how my sleep was on my Oura Ring. I'll put some music on, and then as quickly as possible, I'll try to get outside for a run. Like brush my teeth, but first thing I try to do, I did it this morning, it's cold, it's snowy, great, get outside and go for a run. And on the run, I'll usually have a video, often from my channel, playing, so that in the morning I'm feeding my head with with whoever. Today it was Zig Ziglar. So I got Zig Ziglar in my head. Or I got Elon Musk in my head, or I got Oprah Winfrey in my head, or I got Kanye, or I got whatever. Because what they do for me and why I make the videos on my channel is they pull me to a brighter future. And that it's easy for me to stay stuck in my head and be comfortable and get bored and live in fear, like I can't do this. And when you are around people who, I call them aspirational mentors, I don't know Elon yet. I can't reach out.
I love how you say yet. I love how you say yet.
Yeah, I don't know Elon yet. Yeah.
Goal.
Let's go.
2025. Let's get it.
Here we go. Right? But you can learn from him. It's like where people say, well, I don't have mentors. Well, you don't need to. I mean, it's all available online.
I love that.
Read their books. Watch videos. Like it's all out there.
Yep.
And then you have people like me who are making it even more easier, digestible, right? Like Elon Musk is not a great speaker. Some people are like Richard Branson is not a great speaker. Some people are. If you listen to a Zig Ziglar, who is just in my head because I was listening to it today. He's a fantastic presenter. Like that's his business, is speaking and presenting. And Elon Musk is not a great speaker. And so you might listen to this whole long interview and you have to pull out nuggets. And so what we do is we make that a lot more digestible. My team will watch, hours and hours of content and like pull out the best moments. And there's other people who do it like me as well. But what's your excuse? When I was growing up, how old am I now? 40, what year is it? 44. You'd have to go to the library or something. Like I went to high school just as the internet was coming out.
Right.
Those
were the days.
Yeah. Great. So you go to the library. Who's going to a library now? I did a keynote speech in Paris, in Spain, to all of the heads of the libraries from Europe because they are not relevant. It's like, how do we stay relevant again? Because everybody's just going online. Why would you go to a library when you have YouTube?
Right.
It's crazy. So you don't need to have a mentor. Does it help? Of course. But there are aspirational mentors out there, and you could be choosing what you feed into your brain. And most people, she's so deep in relaxation right now. She's like,
it's the magic hand. It's
the
wild.
magic hand. She's
Trust
like, you're gonna be covered in fur like a yeti, like I was on the last one. But she's loving life right now.
It's all good.
So what are you doing? What are you feeding into your head right now? And not you, but like everybody watching. It's like, how much are you scrolling on Instagram? How much of the videos you're watching are with intention versus you got sucked down some rabbit hole and it's like 45 minutes later you're still sitting on the toilet in the morning watching like gags or something, right?
You know what I mean?
Right?
It's crazy.
But you can intentionally pick what you feed into your brain. And every time you choose to watch a video that is uplifting, that is inspiring, that is teaching you something, a new skill that you never thought you could learn versus something that's taking you down into either negativity or just entertainment. Some is just negative content makes you feel worse, and some is just entertainment content makes you laugh and forget about your problems. But neither of those are going to help you get to a different spot. So if you want to be in a different place than you are right now at the end of next year, then you have to start to change what you're feeding yourself with.
Exactly.
And so, aspirational mentors is a great way to do it. It's just like, don't accept the limitations that most people accept. It's like, well, it's not possible for me, from my background, for where I live and my family. Well, of course it is. There's people who've come from a way worse situation than you who've gone off and crushed it. You're just accepting the limitations.
Exactly. What is that one book? We're kicking off 2025.
Uh-huh.
What's that one book? What's the book that everyone should be digging into? Get into it right now.
Yeah, so I'm not a huge reader.
Okay.
I do read, but I get most of my knowledge from videos.
Like me. That's how we do it.
I'm a visual guy, and so like if reading was the only way to do it, and then I would do that. But I love videos. Like if I can see it, I'm much more likely to retain it. And then I like it being customized. So I don't think there's any one book everybody should read or one video everybody should watch. It's what are you looking for right now? Because the right book at the wrong time doesn't make a difference, right? The right video at the wrong time doesn't make a difference. So whatever you're going into the next year trying to figure out, how do I get inspired? How do I learn? Well, what are you drawn to? What do you want to learn? Whether it's a skill that you're trying to pick up, or if somebody wants to start a podcast, great. Go to YouTube and type, how do I start a podcast, and see what pops up. Or there's some story that you're pulled in by, you love whoever, great, research their story and go learn from them. And this is where people will get stuck on the plan. Don't worry about the perfect plan, just do. Like, what if the first video about how to start a podcast teaches me the wrong information? Okay, then you watch another one. It's like, do. There's no perfect start. Let's just start. Get that first 2% out of the way. Because once you go down the rabbit hole, you'll start learning. When people would ask me, like, what business, I've got all these business ideas, which one should I do? I would have them do this exercise of, okay, how many ideas do you have? Well, I've got like 10 ideas. Okay, great. Write down all 10 on a piece of paper, and then give yourself an hour for the next week on each one. So go and start doing some work, start thinking about each one, just dedicate 1 hour to. Then they come back and say, okay, how does your list? How does it look? And some of the ideas they didn't do the hour on, and invariably you'll find one idea that they just spent 8 hours on. Great, that's the one to do, because your heart's in it, right? Again, big decisions with the heart, small ones with the head. The feels.
Not the fields.
Not fields. It didn't mean the fields. Like, what did you eat for lunch?
Right. I love it. The energy. I love it.
That's great. I love learning new things too. Yeah. It's great. So in that question of like, what one book should I read? First off, identify how you learn best. So for some people, it's books, and that's awesome. If that's you, there's other books that there's entire libraries in Amazon full of books that you can go and pick up and read. But if you learn better through video, then that's cool. Like, watching a video is reading. A lot of people get stuck up, I'm not reading a book, so I'm not learning. No, you could learn a lot more from a video than a book, especially if that's how your learning style is. If you're auditory, great, go listen to podcasts. Like, auditory only is the worst for me, because I focus so hard. If we were doing this and I couldn't see you,
yeah, I know, right? You'd be
so
like looking at your phone, maybe looking at the TV.
I wouldn't worry about getting distracted. I have like OCD, so I wouldn't worry about distraction. I can't understand it as well when I can't see them. So I would be like this, eyes closed, focused, really trying to hear your words and what you're saying, because I'm slower and I'm worse when it's audio only. And if I'm a guest on somebody's show, I want it to be as good as possible for them, right?
Exactly.
So even if it's an audio-only podcast that I'm doing with somebody, we try to do it on video just so I can see them, even if they don't use the video, right? So understanding how you learn, and then what is the thing that you want to learn, and just focus on. Even if you said like, watch one video a day on. I want to start a podcast. Cool. Watch one video a day on how to start a podcast. You're going to start to learn, and then you're going to start to.
And it's changing now. Like, look at the way how phones are being customized, especially iPhones. Like, to create and start a podcast, audio or video, just prop up your camera on your phone, and then you're good to go. Do one angle, one shot.
It's like, and that's a perfect example of like, my parents didn't do this. Like, your parents didn't start a podcast, probably. I don't know.
They watch it though.
They watch it though. Your mom is Joe Rogan's producer or something,
right?
And I just eat my own words, you know.
We all wouldn't be sitting here if that was that was the vibe.
Up. You can jump. Jump. Up. So if you just dedicate one video a day, it's what I try to do with my channel for me. I want a video every morning that I could wake up to and watch and consume that'll make me a better version of me. And if you do that every day, then you will get better. Not every video will be a perfect hit, and that's okay. But if you did that for 30 days, you're gonna start changing. Versus if you only did one and then stopped, you won't see any results.
So true. So true. What's your strategy of staying ahead of trends without chasing them?
I'm honestly more evergreen than worrying about trends.
Okay.
So most of what I do, I want to live forever. So I don't know that we've done much that is trendy. I think it hurts me. I think commentating on what's happening in the news cycle is a fantastic strategy. I'm just not much of a news buff. Like, for me to understand a topic enough to talk about it. Some people read a headline and will just go off and make a video. I don't like. I like to think about it, and so it doesn't work very well for me, or I haven't found the way that it can work yet. And I'll often see both sides of an argument, and it's like not as good a video. People want this person is a liar because of yada, 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 yada. So I have tended to focus on and win through evergreen stuff. So the things that we're talking about here is still valuable in a year, 2 years, or 5 years, or 10 years. I'm still open. I just haven't found the way that works best with me to leverage different trends. Sometimes it'll be through creators or through like, hey, if like you wanted to do this podcast, riding on the subway because riding on the subway podcasts are taking off or whatever, right? Then sometimes I'll be drawn into those things through other creators. But personally, I want the work that I do to live forever. And so I always think about, will this content have a lifetime beyond just a week? That's why even picking YouTube. Like YouTube, the content lives forever. Instagram is dead in a week.
It's one of my questions too, eh?
What?
About YouTube.
YouTube? Okay.
Yeah. What if it disappeared? How would you change your impact?
Where are people going?
Yeah.
Like I don't care about YouTube. I care about impact. So YouTube is long form educational content. Okay, so if YouTube disappears, they get blacklisted, whatever happens, where are people going for long form educational content?
Right now.
They're going to go somewhere. Well, right now, nowhere.
No.
Like so, but something will pop up because it's a need, and YouTube is different enough. If you look at short form content, YouTube's in the game with shorts and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and Snapchat. Like everybody has their own demographics and there's variance in it, but they're all short form videos. I like long form educational video. I'm not making dance challenge and I don't know, whatever other videos.
You're not gonna do that anytime soon?
I mean,
one-off, one time only?
One-off. Oh, we've done lots of stuff one-off. Yeah, we've actually done dance challenges. We've done we've done a bunch of one-off videos.
A little two-step here and there?
Well, there was one I had. There's a Shania Twain song that I was playing at the office, and a guy in my office didn't know the song. It's like, you don't know this song? How do you not know? And I just liked it. I had it on repeat. Like, how do you not know this song? It's like, no, this is not a popular song. Nobody knows this song. Like, what are you talking about? And so I made a video for my Instagram stories. It's like, this guy here has never heard this song, right? It's crazy, right? And all the DMs are back. I've never heard that song either. It's like, nobody knows this song? And I'm not a music, trend, whatever. So I got so upset that nobody knew this song that I decided we would do a Shania Twain dance challenge. And so I DM'd, I don't know how many people. My whole day became about this Shania Twain dance challenge. Again, just like the Kanye top 10, I threw away my day, focused on the Shania Twain dance challenge. And I messaged people that basically just going through my IG, and like everybody got a DM saying, play this song and film yourself dancing to it. And I'm going to make a video and put it on the channel, right? Alex, who's in the room, who helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa, was at the hospital. Like, I don't care. Find a nurse, something, dance to this video. And he did. He found like somebody on the street, or I don't know if it was a nurse or whatever, and he filmed himself dancing outside to the song. And we had all these other people who were filmed, and nobody was like particularly good, right? I mean, Alex, I guess, is a dancer, so it might be a higher expectation. But most of the people I'm messaging, I would message you and say, man, I need you to dance. And you're like, what are you talking about? And today, like, I need it in the next hour. Film yourself dancing to this video, right? And, some people said no, some people ignored me, and some people said yes. And why would they say yes? It's just like the enthusiasm and energy behind it. Like, I don't know what he's doing. This is crazy. Nobody's asked me to do this. I'm not a good dancer, but whatever. He asked me to do it, so I'm going to do it. And we had people like dancing on the street, dancing at their office, dancing in the car, all sorts of weird things. And then we stitched it together into this video and released it. And, it wasn't like this huge home run of a video. And we probably got copyright claim because we were using Shania Twain's, song in there. At least it didn't block it. But then people were messaging me back to like, I didn't want to do that because I was too afraid to ever get on camera, even to like make a thought leadership video. And I filmed myself dancing, even though I'm not a good dancer. Like, thank you so much for pushing me out of my comfort zone. When's the next one? Like, next one? No, we're done. Like, I'm not a dance challenge video guy. I was just like, I got pissed off because of my friend didn't know the Shania Twain song, and so that's why we did it. But I don't want to be the dance challenge video guy.
No.
But with the Kanye one, I like being the top 10 guy, right? And so, sure, we've done some things like that, some fun projects as one-off. He's done lots of weird one-off stuff. But if it's not, again, like if you're only chasing a trend and you don't love it, you're not going to win. You'll burn out.
So true.
Right?
So true.
How many years making YouTube videos? 2009. So, it's been a minute. A lot of YouTubers are giving up and quitting. It's like, I'm done after like a couple months or a year or whatever. Because they're doing work they don't love. Like, it's not just a YouTube thing. It's an anything thing. If you're doing work that you don't love, if you're just trying to chase
a check.
An out goal, right?
Yeah, they want the check.
A check, a trend. If you don't love the process, like after all the people that I've studied, the number one rule for success is you have to love the thing that you're doing. Like actually love the thing. If you're starting a podcast and you're 500 episodes deep and you don't like talking to people, like that's a problem.
Yeah, it is.
Like go do something else.
It's like, what are you doing it for?
Yeah, it's, like, because podcasting is a big trend. Cool. You're going to lose.
I see a lot of folks getting into the podcasting space, and I'm like, you get in conversations, you know that they're not doing it for the right reasons. Because by the time they get to the 5th episode, they have to realize about the editing. They got to realize about, scheduling studio time or virtual time. Oh, I don't have enough hours in the day. I'm working. I'm doing this. My dog is sick or whatever. All these other excuses come ahead. And when I hear that, I'm just like, I know you don't want it. You don't want it. And it's okay if you don't want it. It's okay.
Winning at anything is hard.
Yeah.
The people who win, though, it's not hard. It's fun.
Yeah.
I like the challenge.
Yeah.
Like I'm still thinking about new video ideas.
I come from the school of pro wrestling, and I love.
You were a pro wrestler? You wanted to be a pro wrestler?
Yeah, I still watch.
Who was your guy?
Right now?
No, well, I don't know enough now. Who was your guy growing up?
Jesus, controversy here. It was Shawn Michaels, and when he went away, it was Triple H.
Okay. Who was he partnered with initially?
Which one?
Shawn Michaels.
They were DX, the Generation X.
No, before that. Who was he with?
Oh, you're talking about the day. Mark Jannetty, the Rockers.
Mark Jannetty, yeah.
The Rockers.
Yeah. They were flying out the top ropes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I love what The Rock says.
I like the Ultimate Warrior, but okay,
the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, he was my guy.
Yeah. R.I.P. He was great. He was great.
Yeah.
Impactful wrestler. Rock said something I remember in an interview. He goes, "A long gamer," and I when I heard that, I'm just like, and he followed it with a bunch of other stuff. He's just like, "Look, I'm a long gamer in this art, in this storytelling, compelling." You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that's with anything you're doing, whatever you want to do. Long gamer, got to be a long gamer.
Yeah, and listen, you won't know until you start. So when I did the top 10 on Kanye, I wasn't long gaming top 10s. Like I didn't know that was going to be the thing. It was a one-off experiment, but it ended up being a long game. The Shania Twain Dance Challenge was done. Like we didn't ever do that again. But I think when you find like the thing that you will ultimately win, yes, by being a long gamer, as he put it. But how do you find that thing that you want to commit to? Well, you have to experiment a bunch with different things. Mm-hmm. Like you don't know if podcasting is going to be a fit for you until you actually start doing it. And if there's a seed, like you're not going to be good at it, right? Expect to suck at the beginning. We talked about it. But as long as you are enjoying it and there's a seed there, then you have something to play off of. But I think people also stay in things for too long. Like they stay in businesses for too long, they stay in relationships for too long, they stay in things for too long because they got bored. They never pivoted. They never chased things that lead into excitement and happiness, fulfillment for them.
You're getting in a whole other 3-hour, 4-hour conversation if we're going to go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, well, okay. We don't that's episode 4.
That's episode 4 or 5, right? Before we get out of here, what's that one piece of advice you've never shared publicly that stays close to the heart?
I don't know. I mean, I'm if it's something I've never shared, then it's probably a personal story about my family or something that I know they wouldn't want shared, mm-hmm. even if I had a positive message. Mm-hmm. But I'm more of a counterpuncher than a puncher.
I love that.
So I just react. Like it's the question that I wish I answered is the question I wish you asked. It's like the question that I wish people asked that a lot of times when I do, I mean, I don't know how many interviews I've done over the years, but what often happens is they have their list of questions, cool. and then you stop rolling, and then say, but I really want to how about this? It's like, bro, you should have led with that question. That question that you asked after the cameras stopped rolling should be the first question that you ask. Not me, but she's getting comfortable. But anybody, right? Are you not liking my answer there, Tristana? You're sneezing over there.
I'm wearing all your hair, by the way.
Yeah.
It's all good though.
Full Yeti mode. So I don't. If I ever want, I've done 10,000 videos. Like if I ever wanted to share something, I would share it. I work best when I'm reacting to something, which has its strengths and weaknesses. And when I'm training my team, I was on a call just yesterday with some of the people in my sales department, and they want training and they want like SOPs, standard operating procedures, and documents and scripts. It's like I don't have a single script. I don't work off a script at all. But I understand that most people do, and it's valuable for them. So the way that we workshop it is, they play me a call, and I say how I would handle it. So if you said, how should we talk to a customer? How should we talk about YouTube as a strat? I don't know what to say. I don't know how to help them. But if you give me an example, she's
like, you trying to jump off?
That's what she's trying to do.
What are you trying to do? You trying to jump off? You're interrupting. You're interrupting the guest.
Exactly. Come on, Tristana. It's not about you. She's making it about you here.
You want to come down?
You can put her down. Gonna go off and explore.
There you go.
Good girl. So I work best in reaction mode, and I it's a weakness because if I could better structure things, I would be a better leader for my team. They'd have the SOPs that they need. I'd have an answer to that kind of question. But you have to do the thing that is you, and so I have to tell everybody I work best as a counterpuncher. I work best in reacting to things. Give me something to react to. And I think a lot of people on most shows will hold back the punches, will hold back the questions, either because they're afraid of what I might say as an answer. It's like, I can't lead with that question because I don't know this person very well, so I'm going to lead with something safe. Or they're afraid of their own insecurities of like, I can't tell my audience that I'm struggling with this thing, so I'm not going to share that, right? And in either case, like, I don't think either of those things are good enough reasons. And so I encourage, we actually send the video, you probably got it years ago. I send the video of how to prepare for an interview with me.
And I love that. And
in there, one of the things is like, ask the questions that you really want asked. And I don't care if you read my bio, I don't care if you tell me, but I don't care. You could talk about whatever you want to talk about, just make it important for you. Because if it's important to you, then it's going to be helpful for me. Like that's what if you want to go down this crazy esoteric thing about whatever, wrestling, and that's what we spend the whole time talking about, dude, if that's valuable for you, then that's what we're going to talk about. Cool,
sure.
Right? I did an interview with Matthew McConaughey for the channel, and I was super stressed out about it because I don't know anything about it. I usually interview entrepreneurs, and Matthew McConaughey, I didn't even know how to pronounce his name. Is it McConaughey or McConaughey? And I was stressed I was going to call him the wrong thing. He's an actor, and I mean, great, but I don't know him as a thought. What I'm going to ask, what's it like being an actor? Like, it's the worst question of all time, right? And so I started watching his other interviews, and one of the things that stuck out is, oh, this guy is an actor, but he's also a philosopher. If you hear him on the other interviews, he's also very athletic, and his book talked about wrestling, back to wrestling. And the first thing that came to mind was Bruce Lee, who was an actor, who was an athlete, who was a philosopher. And so I'd lead that interview with saying, you know, you're like a modern day Texan Bruce Lee.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Right? Mm-hmm. And that was that's the first thing I say, basically. Like, welcome to the show. I see you as like a modern day Texan Bruce Lee. And it like immediately got him thinking, like, modern day Texan, and then I explained why. And then I said, maybe we should call you Sensei McConaughey. And I was he's like, I like that, Sensei McConaughey. Now, he may not have liked it. He may hate Bruce Lee. Like, I don't know anything about this guy. Maybe he hates Bruce Lee. Maybe he met him and like Bruce Lee kicked him in the face and now he's like, I don't know. But I don't want to live in the fear.
Facts. And
the intention was good. You know, if he hates martial arts, I think I can always make it up to them. But the intention was good. So I'm going to lead with that. And that was among the most scary moments of interviews that I've done with people, because I had zero context and I don't know how he's going to react. I hope it's good. And it ended up being fine. But taking that risk when you're interviewing someone, what do you love about this person, or what are you curious about from this person that you're going to personally learn something from? If you're doing an interview like this, like, you hope that you're going to learn something, and then you learning, the audience learns. And so the questions that I hope people ask are the ones that are actually meaningful to them on a personal level, because that's a way more fun and engaging conversation.
Okay. I love that. Before we end,
Yeah.
I always say 1% better, but I'm going to flip it.
Okay.
The branding yellow. Why the branding yellow?
Well, it's gold.
Gold, yellow,
First off,
yellow, gold.
Different.
My fault. Jeez. The pushback.
That's like, when you wake up before you get creative. No, I wake up creative.
To me, it looks yellow.
Yeah, and it's fine. And you could call it pink. I don't care. For me, it's
Pink
gold.
is wild.
Right? This is more, it's for me, not for anybody else, right? Like, it's gold for me. If you want to call it whatever it is, that's awesome. And I get it. I mean, even the shoes that have look a lot more yellow, but to me, they're gold.
Fair.
I like it. I mean, the airplane has a bigger story than the color, but initially it was actually blue and white. So if you go way back on the channel, it was still an airplane. It looked a little different than this, and it was a white airplane on a blue background. And I just like the gold and the black better. I'm sure it has all sorts of reasons, and you can look up color meanings, and gold will mean royalty and success and money or whatever, which is it could all be true. I look at it and I love it. It's like when I watch superhero movies, I always liked that they went out in their outfit, in their costume, and then when they went to their lair or whatever, they put their outfit on a mannequin.
Right.
Right.
It's kind of wild that they do that.
Yeah. And so, like, I'm a superhero going to work every day for what I do, and so I wear this. I put this on as part of my morning routine. It's like, this is awesome. I'm a superhero going out to fight for belief. And again, whether that is true or not, or sounds stupid or not, it's what I believe, right? And so it's what I do. So gold, I don't know, because I like it.
They say not all superheroes wear capes, but you wear your colors.
Yeah.
Is the most important thing.
And like, just feeling like what you do matters and is important. And if somebody doesn't like it or disrespects it or whatever, mentally this is awesome.
No, for sure. I appreciate you, my friend.
Cool, man.
And you know what? I'll say this. I'll give you your flowers, is because after we did our second interview,
Okay.
you gave me some value, and you said, listen, start presenting parts of the coaching. And that's what I'm going to be working towards for 2025, my friend.
I love that.
And I've been telling a lot of folks, hold me accountable with that. A lot of friends are like, he said that? I said, yeah.
You're doing it again right now.
Of course.
Did you book your first coaching session yet?
No, it's Christmas time. I got to get through the Christmas rush with work and all that, but we're going to definitely do that.
Yeah, it's like the best thing you can do on the way home is just book the first call.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because once you do one, all the other ones become easier, more fun.
Absolutely.
Did I tell you about how I did when I started doing live coaching here?
No.
So I did, it's a good story to end on, but I was in LA, and I was speaking at this event for YouTubers. And when I go to an event, my favorite part isn't speaking, it's the lobby. It's like, I want to speak as early as possible. Ideally, the opening keynote. It's not always possible, but not for ego or whatever. It's just, I'm an introvert, and I'll never talk to people in the hallway on my own. And so I'll say on stage, I'm an introvert. I will not come and talk to you, but please come and talk to me, because I'm here to help and serve. It's my favorite thing to do. I don't like coming and just sitting on the sidelines or flying home. Like, I'm here to serve. So I speak as early as possible. So it was a 3-day event, and I spend most of the day in the lobby. I'm staying up till 2 in the morning, waking up at 7 a.m. I'm not eating. I forget to go to the bathroom, running a fever, not noticing. I don't notice. And then my body just falls apart. So now when I travel, I need to have somebody's usually with me to say, okay, Evan's going now. But I loved it so much that I thought, I need to, this is actually the best of me. This one-on-one coaching is actually the best of me. I need to do it when I get back home, but we have to do it in a more sustainable way. So I said, I'm going to do it from from here, from my dance studio, and coach people, but also do it on Instagram Live. I think that'd be super fun to do. And so as I'm flying home, it's a 5-hour flight or so from LA to Toronto, and I start to notice the interest, like the boldness is slipping. It's like, this is a great idea. And then it's like 90%, like, ooh, okay, doubt creeps in. Then it's like 80%, then it's 75%. It's like, okay, before I lose it, I'm leaving the energy, I'm flying back home. Before I lose it, I need to book the calls. And so we're flying home on a Friday, and said, I'm going to start Monday. And I told my team, like, okay, we're starting this new thing. When? Like Monday, I'm coming back, we're starting it Monday, not like next year or whatever. And I booked the first 5 people from Monday to Friday to come in, and we did this show. When I came here on Monday morning, I was at 0%. I didn't want to do it. This is a waste of time. I have more important things to do. I shouldn't be doing this. Why did I agree to this? But I had committed to 5 people already. I was going to do it on the plane, so I'm not going to not show up for them, right? And then we did one. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
You just flowed right.
It's like, yeah, this is why I did it. Oh, I remember now. Brought back the energy. It's wild how our brain like keeps us safe and protected and small and comfortable and bored, because your brain helps you stay alive, helps you stay in survival mode, where your feels can make something
Absolutely.
brand new. So I think you'd come alive in those episodes. And the best thing to do is whenever you're going to start, like, book your first person and just commit to a date
100%.
and do it. And
Absolutely.
like, if it's a half-hour session, I mean, you had time to come here and do this. You can book a half-hour session with somebody
Absolutely.
and coach them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That hits me again, right in the fields,
Yeah.
not fields.
Yeah.
Yes. My man.
Let's go.
I fucking
Cool, man. Thanks for
appreciate
having
you,
me.
man. I appreciate you. Thank you.